Here are two different air quality sensors sitting in the same hotel room, providing us with two completely different readings on the air quality. This Dylos monitor is saying the air quality is poor, but this Temtop monitor is saying the air quality is good. So which one is correct and actually telling us the truth? I compared the air quality readings between these two monitors on 7 different occasions over the course of 9 hours in a hotel room, and the results were very surprising, maybe even disturbing if you consider the fact that people are using and trusting these sensors to help tell them the quality of the air that they are breathing. These two monitors almost always came up with different air quality results for the air in the hotel room, and their PM 2.5 numbers were oftentimes way off from each other. The PM stands for particulate matter, and PM 2.5 basically tells us the concentrations of particles in the air down to 2.5 microns in size. In this video, we will show and compare the results for the 7 different readings between these two monitors in the hotel room. Also, I emailed the manufacturers to inquire about the huge differences in the testing results, and I asked them what the possible reasons could be for such large disparities in the results, and I'll share the response. We'll also look at 2 possibly very telling reviews from other air quality monitor customers, and we will discuss one very key, very important issue about air purifiers and air quality testing monitors that the general public needs to understand when they are trying to evaluate which ones are the best to purchase. The 2 devices we are comparing today are the Temtop Air Quality Monitor Professional Particle Counter LKC1000S, and I purchased it for $175.99. And the other air quality tester is the Dylos DC1100, which I purchased for about twice the price at $312. The Temtop is manufactured in China, and the Dylos is manufactured in California in the United States, although not all the components in the unit are American-made. Here's a little about each unit's display. On this screen, the Dylos provides 2 main numbers. The one on the left tells us the particle concentrations down to 0.5 microns, and the one on the right tells us the larger particulate concentrations, which are about 2.5 microns in diameter. There is a chart on the back of the Dylos unit that translates the numbers into an air quality rating system for the 0.5 particles. 0 to 75 represents excellent air quality, and anything over 3,000 represents very poor air quality. On this screen, the Temtop provides 2 main areas we will be looking at. This number represents the PM 2.5 concentrations, and this number represents the PM 10 concentrations. We will be focusing on the PM 2.5 values, as it is the smaller particulates that almost all air quality agencies agree are the most harmful to humans. The Temtop monitor also has a space below, which provides us with words to describe how they rate the quality of the air, taking into account the PM10 and PM 2.5 numbers. And here is the chart they use to come up with the ratings. If the PM 2.5 concentrations are 0 to 12 and the PM10 concentrations are 0 to 54, then it deems the air quality level is good for those particular standards. And we can see if the numbers fall outside of those ranges, then different air quality levels will be assigned. So here are the results of the comparison between the 2 testers. Reading number 1, I had just arrived in the hotel room for less than 15 minutes, and I started to unpack, and I received these readings. The Dylos provided a 0.5 micron concentration reading of 617, which it rates as fair air quality. However, the Temtop rated the air quality to be good. As we can see, the Dylos monitor can test for particles that are 2.5 and 0.5 microns, but 2.5 microns is the lowest size the Temtop is able to test for. So both units are able to test for particles that are about 2.5 microns in size, so we do get somewhat of an apples-to-apples comparison between the 2 units on this issue. Reading number 2. 5 minutes later, the Dylos' 0.5 reading is 1,089, which it considers to be poor air quality. But the Temtop says it's good air quality. Reading number 3. 10 minutes later, I opened the door to the room for a few seconds and then closed it. And I waited 3 minutes and checked the monitors. The Dylos 0.5 reading was 1,504, which it considers to be poor air quality. But the Temtop still said it's good air quality. When you open and close a door in a room, especially a small room, it will change the airflow in the room, and it will tend to kick up some particles into the air. Same as when you walk around a room, you will tend to create little air currents which will tend to stir the particles up in the room. The Dylos' readings changed dramatically in response to the opening and closing of the door, but the Temtop readings barely changed. In fact, the readings from the two monitors went in different directions. They went in opposite directions. The Temtop said the air quality got a little better, while the Dylos' readings said the air quality got worse. Reading number 4. 20 minutes later, I turned on a Winix 5500 air purifier and checked the monitors right as I turned it on. The Dylos still said the air quality was poor, and the Temtop still said the air quality was good. Reading number 5. 6 minutes after the Winix 5500 was running, the Dylos' 0.5 micron readings improved by 67%, and its 2.5 readings improved by 57%, and it upgraded the air quality rating to fair from poor. And the Temtop's 2.5 reading improved by 72%, and it still said the air quality was good. Reading number 6. 11 minutes later, with the Winix 5500 now running for 17 minutes, the Dylos' 0.5 reading improved by 48% and finally provided a good air quality reading, and the Temtop 2.5 reading improved by 9%, and it still said the air quality was good. So the two monitors finally agreed that the air quality was good based on their own standards. It took a Winix 5500 air purifier running for 17 minutes to finally get the Dylos to agree with the Temtop, because the Temtop said the air quality was good in all the previous samples. Reading number 7. 8 hours later, the Dylos' 0.5 reading was 719, and it went back to saying the air quality was fair, while the Temtop still said the air quality was good, as always. Of note, the Dylos 0.5 readings increased by 60%, but the Temtop's 2.5 readings decreased by 28%. The two sensors' readings moved in opposite directions over the course of the 8 hours, with the Winix air purifier running. Based on our simple test here, the majority of times, the two solutions conflicted with each other on what they considered to be good air quality in the hotel room. Only one time out of 7 readings did the two sensors agree with each other and say the room possessed good air quality. So they agreed with each other only 14% of the time that I checked them. The Temtop always said the air quality was good, regardless of whether the door was opened and closed, which creates drafts, and regardless of whether the Winix air purifier was turned on or not. The Dylos, on the other hand, fluctuated in its readings of the air quality over time, and it sensed that the air quality improved dramatically after the air purifier was turned on. So for a variety of reasons, I do think the Dylos is the more accurate solution of these two options, although I'm not saying it is perfect. I emailed Temtop support and asked them why their unit was providing such different results from the Dylos DC1100, and I also included this picture for them to view. Hello. Attached is the picture of the Dylos giving a 1470 reading for small particulates, 0.5 microns or greater, which they considered to be poor air quality. And the Temtop is right next to it giving a 407 reading that says good. They are in a hotel room. Number 1, I was wondering why the Dylos would consider it to be poor air quality while the Temtop is reading it to be good air quality. So here's how Temtop support responded. Hi, Doug. Sorry, our monitor consider the air quality as per PM 2.5/PM10, the two of air quality indexes. You can say we focus more on respirable particles that's harmful for human beings. Now this I do not agree with at all, since the Temtop unit only goes down to 2.5 microns, which is considered the lowest range of coarse particles and the highest range of fine particles, and does not even take into account over 90% of all the particles in the air we breathe. As stated before, ultrafine particles, which are smaller than 2.5 microns, account for 90% of all the particles in the air we breathe. And they are the most dangerous to us, as referenced by the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, CDC, Center for Disease Control, and the WHO, the World Health Organization, and many other air quality organizations throughout the world. So no, I currently disagree with them saying we focus more on respirable particles that's harmful for human beings. By the very definition of coarse, fine, and ultrafine particles, they are actually focusing on larger particles that are less harmful to human beings, and I think everyone needs to understand this. They go on to answer, the particles we hear is a general calculation of particles in air. It's in reference for users. We follow the EPA's guidance. This chart is for your reference. They emailed this chart that is similar to the one in their manual. Temtop support goes on to say, we do not know how Dylos consider the air quality, and these are two different devices. They have different designs and sensors. We here will give no comment. And I am cool with that answer from them. They are stating the truth to a large degree. Then they say, our LKC 1000S models is with CE certificate and has went through CPSIA test report and AQSPEC. We have confidence in our products and it can be withstanded in practice. Okay, here's another important point I would like consumers to think about. Lies, damn lies, and air quality certifications. So I'm okay with this answer that Temtop provided as well. They provided some certifications their unit received, and that is a reasonable response from them. However, I will say this. What I have learned over the past 16 years in the air quality industry in dealing with many different products, different manufacturers, different marketing and advertising techniques, and different certifications from third-party independent labs and government agencies, some of, or even many of, the certifications that products receive ain't worth the ink on the logos they put on the box of the units, okay? Some certifications, maybe even many of them, do not mean the product is of high quality, nor do they mean that the product actually works well. I currently think there are some really important reputable certifications that are hard for products to obtain, and then there are some other more easily obtained certifications, which I think in many cases, the manufacturers just fill out a form or two and hand over some money. And boom, they immediately get a nice little certification logo they can put on their products boxes and websites. And these eye candy certification logos may make their solution appear to be somewhat reputable to general consumers. That said, here is an interesting recent review on Amazon about the accuracy of this Temtop device that I would actually expect to come across. They give it a 1 star and say very inaccurate, uselessly inconsistent between devices. Reviewed in the United States on August 21st, 2023. I've got 2 of these during peak smoke season. One of them is claiming the indoor AQI, which is air quality index, is 16. The other is claiming the indoor air quality index is 788. So my air quality is somewhere between good and catastrophically bad. It's useless. You can't trust the results. And they have a picture of 2 of the Temtop sensors sitting right next to each other, with one saying the AQI, air quality index, is good, and the other one right next to it is saying the air quality index is hazardous at 788. Anything over 301 on the AQI is considered hazardous by this Temtop device, as you can see on this chart. So 788 would be considered really, really bad air quality, like strap on a respirator and run for the hills type level bad air quality. PM 2.5 is a component of the AQI rating, as there are more things the AQI rating takes into consideration for their overall scores. And I know it's only one review, and you can never make too much out of one review, but let's just say this review does not surprise me at all. And here's another very recent Temtop review on Amazon, and I strongly agree with one particular component of it. Received this product as a gift, but was disappointed by its lack of reliability, accuracy, and quality. I compared the readings of PM 2.5 readings with other instrument and found this meter to be off quite a bit. It's a bit misleading when the seller called it professional air tester. It's more appropriate for amateur air quality monitoring. Battery life is poor, display can be hard to see in outdoor, bright light, sunny conditions. This product is designed and produced by Shenzhen Temtop Technology Company Limited, a Chinese company with headquarters in California. This product is made in China. The one issue I really agree with on this review is that I would never consider a $175 air quality tester to be industrial quality. And yes, on their Amazon listing, it actually says industrial grade and long sensor life in capital letters, no less. Temtop Advanced Industrial Grade Laser Particle Sensor. So there are laser particle counters on the market that cost $1,000, $3,000, and even $8,000. And they've been stringently tested by third parties. So they're supposed to meet certain requirements. So I have a hard time believing a $175 air quality sensor coming out of China is of industrial quality. As we can see, companies can kind of market their air quality products in whatever manner they wish without a lot of oversight whatsoever, in my opinion. And many companies take great liberties with how they market their air purification solutions. And I will definitely be making some videos on this issue in the near future to help expose some of their, shall we say, less than scrupulous marketing practices. And now, on to the most important issue, in my opinion, which is how important is it to know the particle concentrations in our air if they only represent 10% of all the particles and they simultaneously disregard the smaller, most dangerous 90% of the particles that we are breathing. First off, neither of these two sensors test down to 0.3 microns, which is HEPA level. The HEPA standard is 99.97% down to 0.3 microns. So you really can't use either testing solution to know if your air purifier is actually working at a HEPA level or not. That said, I currently think HEPA may not be a good enough standard for us to rely on when considering the quality of our air. As already stated, over 90% of all the particles in the air we breathe are smaller than 0.3 microns. Ultrafine particles are smaller than 0.3 microns, and the EPA, the CDC, and the WHO, and many other agencies and air quality professionals around the world would agree, it is these ultrafine particles that are the most dangerous for our health, as the smaller particles can even reach our bloodstream and access every organ in our bodies. There are long-term hazardous health issues that are resulting from the ultrafine particles we are breathing. And these two air quality testers, the Dylos DC1100 and the Temtop LKC1000S, do not test for ultrafine particles. In fact, the Temtop unit only tests down to 2.5 microns, so it's only giving readings on coarse particles, which represent only 1% of all the particles in the air that we breathe. And this Dylos monitor only goes down 2.5 microns, so it only provides readings on maybe 5% of the larger particles in the air we breathe. I really want people to understand the importance of this concept. Again, these two sensors do not provide data on the ultrafine particles that make up 90% of the particles in the air that we breathe and are the most dangerous to our health. I've seen some YouTube channels do testing videos where they compare the performance of multiple different air purifiers with this Temtop sensor, and they rank the units based on the results. And they call the videos something like the best air purifiers. And as you can imagine, I think these air purifier ranking videos lack credibility for many reasons. But in particular, A, they're only testing for the less harmful larger particles. B, they're only getting readings on maybe 1% of the particles in our air, which means we're not getting readings on 99% of the particles in our air, and the most dangerous ones, of course. And C, they're putting 100% of their trust into this Temtop sensor, which I think we've just seen doesn't appear to be super accurate, right? I mean, it tends to almost always say the air quality in the room is good. And outside of this test and this video, I've actually taken this Temtop monitor into over 7 different rooms in 3 different buildings, and it always says the air quality is good. Whether there are expensive air purifiers running in the room, or if the room hasn't been lived in or dusted for over 10 weeks, it always says good air quality. So, I mean, you can draw whatever conclusions from that you wish. At the end of the day, I do not want tons of people to buy these testing monitors and automatically believe their readings when they say that you have good air quality in your space, as I currently believe that in many cases, this will give people a false sense of security in their air quality, and I do not want that. That is more dangerous than not having any idea of your air quality. I currently believe this Temtop sensor is pretty inaccurate for detecting the particles that are 2.5 microns in size. It seems to almost be on a default setting that almost always says we have good air quality in our space. I currently believe the Dylos DC1100 is more accurate, but even if it is not displaying data on the ultrafine particles either. So, how beneficial are its results to us? In addition, neither monitor can tell us what the particles are in our air either. They can't tell us if we're breathing in mold or asbestos, etc. It's not just the size of the particles, but also what exactly are the particles you are breathing. Some particles are obviously more dangerous to us than others. If you want to see how these two sensors performed in the second hotel room I put them in, then please click on this video here. And if you'd like to learn more about the dangers of ultrafine particles and why they are such a threat to our long-term health, please click on this video here. I consider it to be the most important video I've made to date. So please watch it in its entirety. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.